So now you got your properties income, okay? Because this is going to be a couple, this is your main, like, let's just say in your books, you have two different buckets that you want to focus on. You want a profit and loss for the property, okay? And then you're going to be looking, let's say you did 10 properties last year, and you're going to say, okay, I got profit and loss for each property individually. So I made $260,000 on those 10 properties, about 26K average. However, I had, what is my net income for my company? Because my company had some expenses. Maybe I had to pay for some coaching. So maybe I had 10,000 bucks in coaching or something I paid for. Maybe I had some, gas expenses like myself personally. Maybe we had to do a little bit of marketing. Maybe we decided to get some cool shirts and hats, with our company logo on it. These would all be company expenses that we then would take off we would take off the overall gross income of your properties. And then that would get, minus by any general expenses in your company. Now what you have is your net income for your company. Okay, so that's the reason we separate it that way, is because obviously in a year you're likely going to have properties, and you need to know what that property did, like each property did. But then you're going to have some general company expenses that go to all the properties. And again, that usually is like gas and general insurance, gas, anything, lunches if you had to put them on, any kind of expenses, marketing, coaching, any of those things. For me, that's generally what it is, like marketing, coaching, expenses, tolls, cars, things like that. Yeah, that's it. So once we have that, that's super simple bookkeeping. And there's probably some great systems out there you can use. There's different companies, like one's called Bench you can use. If you keep it really simple like this, bookkeeping doesn't have to be that complex. It really is truly just a matter of you creating a system where it's being done daily, versus being done, like every week or every month. Every week would be the next best thing. Every month, I would say don't do, unfortunately. Every month, you're going to be paying so much more because it's going to take so many more hours to do it that you're actually going to have to pay. And if you think that, say, a bookkeeper is going to, for everyone knows, I'll give you the basic understanding what I would pay a bookkeeper. Bookkeepers in general, if you get them on Upwork, not going to like a CPA or something, they're generally going to be like 25 to 50 bucks an hour. And like anything in life, right? We don't know how fast they are. It could be that the $50 an hour person could be cheaper than the $25 an hour person if they can go through your books and do them in 2 hours a week, but the 25 hour person takes like 6 hours a week. Well, guess what? The $50 an hour person will be 100 and the other will be 150. So we always want to look at how fast people can do stuff. My experience, I had a $25 an hour person, but she wasn't keeping up with everything, and I just replaced her with a $40 an hour person. So I'll let you know how that's going. I'm working on it now. We're just getting started with her. So I'm not afraid to pay someone 40 bucks an hour. I just want to make sure they're fast, they're efficient. There is plenty of people for 25 to 35 bucks an hour who can do bookkeeping for you. It's very easy to get that. And often your bookkeeping expenses for just, running one house should either be done yourself, or, you might be talking 100, 200 bucks a month. It doesn't have to be real expensive. And VAs, especially this easy bookkeeping, you can find VAs for, and I'm giving you really good VAs, by the way, who are handling my complex company. If you're doing one house at a time, you could get someone for $10 to $15 an hour all day long that could do your books for you, because they're not going to be complicated, if that makes sense. And then you would just send the books right to your CPA at the end of the year, and then they'll have everything they need. They're going to charge you, obviously, and to clean things up and get it all ready for taxes. But bookkeeping doesn't have to be complex. And if anytime you hire someone, they try to make it complex. It took me about 8 years to figure this out. Just 3.5 years ago, when I started working with my coach, I also realized I knew nothing about like financial stuff, bookkeeping, anything. So I started taking some QuickBooks classes, and I hired a CFO coach that I worked with once a week for a year. I think he charged me like $500 a session, so like $2,000 a month. So I guess that's like 24 grand learning from him over like a year. And I only have a general understanding of it. I'm actually have the ability to coach you on it and walk you through it and do it in my business, but I'm still not a CFO, obviously. CFOs, they take a long time to get really smart around the numbers. I only did that training so I would have a better understanding, because whenever I would talk with my financial people, it was like they were talking another language and it would make my head hurt. So I was like, okay, I have to invest like a year just so I can at least have an intelligent conversation. I didn't do that training so I could do my own stuff and be my own CFO. I did it because my CFO would just be like, do this. And I'd be like, okay, if you say so. I don't even know if that sounds like it makes sense. So it was almost like not knowing construction and trying to hire a contractor. If you don't know construction, you try to hire a contractor, you're going to get taken advantage of. And the first 7 or 8 years I was doing this, I mean, I got taken advantage of big time as far as like my books were never right. People were sending me bills for 15K to do my books and 10K for this, 5K for that. It was like never ending. And the books were a wreck for like 7 years straight. So and the reason that was is because I kept like abdicating and giving it to other people and hoping they would make it great. And now I have better control of it. At least I have all my books are caught up. I am working on doing some higher level, different stuff with my books right now and building out a better team so that I can have multiple people doing my books and have just a deeper understanding of them. However, right now, as being a newer flipper or someone who's just flipping, say maybe 5 or 10 houses a year, the books don't have to be complicated. They get more complicated the more volume you do and the more businesses you have.